Uh, Dear Virgo, please sit down. I mean that completely. Not as a dramatic opener, as a genuine instruction, because what I am about to share with you today is not a casual message. It is not something to scroll through. It is something to receive fully, with your whole self present. Welcome. And when you are ready, really ready, we begin. I need to tell you something, and I need to tell you carefully, because what I am holding right now in the energy of this message is large and tender and significant in a way that does not come around often, even in this work, even after countless readings and energies and messages delivered. This one moved me, and I want it to move you too, in the way that things move us when they are finally true. There is a love in your life, or a love that was in your life, or a love that has existed in the space between you and someone else in a form that has not yet been fully expressed, fully committed to, fully brought into the real world, from the realm of feeling and longing and almost into something permanent, something decided, something that cannot be undone, that is about to change. Whew. I want to start at the beginning, because this message is not just about what is coming. It is about the whole journey that has led here. And I think you need to feel that whole journey before you can fully receive what is arriving at the end of it. You have loved this person in some form for some time, not always easily, not always with the certainty that comes when love is returned clearly, but persistently, with the particular stubbornness of a feeling that refuses to be reasonable, that refuses to respond to logic, that refuses to be talked out of itself. No matter how many times you tried, there have been moments of joy in this. Moments where the connection between you felt like the most right thing in your life, where being near them felt like something you wanted to preserve, to hold very carefully, because it was rare and you knew it. And there have been moments of pain, the particular pain of loving someone, when love is complicated, when it does not follow the clean lines of how love is supposed to work, when something that should be simple keeps finding ways to become complicated, when you have had to carry the feeling without always knowing if the carrying was worth it, without always having someone confirm that what you felt was real, or returned, or leading somewhere, you kept carrying it anyway. I want to speak to that now, to the carrying, because I think it is one of the most significant things about you. In this story, and I do not want it to go unacknowledged, you kept faith in the specific and demanding way that keeping faith in love requires. When the evidence is inconsistent, when the other person is not always showing up the way you need, when your own doubt keeps arriving, dressed as wisdom, telling you to protect yourself, to let go, to stop hoping for something, that keeps not arriving in the form you need it to arrive in. You listen to that doubt sometimes. Of course you did. You are human, and the doubt had good arguments, and the pain was real. And there were moments where letting go seemed like the only sane option. But underneath the listening, something else persisted, something that did not respond to argument, something that simply knew this is not finished, this is not over, there is more here. Something real is here, and I am not done with it yet. That knowing was not delusion. That knowing was accurate. Now let me tell you about them, about what has been happening on their side. Because this message is as much about their journey as it is about yours. And I think understanding where they have been will help you understand why what is coming arrives the way it does and why it matters as much as it does. They have been doing something internal, something that does not always show on the surface, something that takes a long time to complete because it involves reckoning with themselves, with their own fear, with their own particular reasons for not being fully present in what they felt, with whatever it was that kept them from showing up with the wholeness you deserve. They have been reckoning, and reckoning takes as long as it takes. It cannot be rushed. It cannot be demanded out of someone. It cannot be produced by anyone except the person doing it, alone, in the quiet of their own internal world, with no audience, with nothing to perform for, just the truth of what they have done and what they feel and what they want and who they need to become to be worthy of what they have been given and perhaps squandered or failed to fully honor in you. That reckoning is complete. Whew. And from the completion of it, something is emerging, something that I have to tell you about carefully because I do not want to oversimplify it or reduce it to something smaller than what it is, or deliver it in a way that does not honor the weight of what it represents. They want to commit to you, not in the casual way, not in the I want to see where this goes way, not in the half measure way that has perhaps characterized some of what has happened between you before, in the full way, the permanent way, the I have done the work and I know who I am and I know what I want and what I want is you way, the way that involves a decision made clearly without the ambiguity that has existed before, without the unspoken qualifiers, without the fear running the show. A decision to be fully in with you, if you will have them. I want to speak to the ring in this message because it is there and it is specific and it deserves to be addressed directly. A ring is a symbol, the oldest kind, the kind that has meant the same thing across cultures and centuries and every variation of human relationship. It means I choose you formally, permanently, in a way that everyone can see, not just privately, not just in the internal world of what we feel, but in the real world where things are made official and witnessed and cannot easily be undone. I am not going to tell you that a literal ring is definitely coming, Because what is actually moving in this energy is the commitment that a ring represents, which may arrive in the form of a ring, or it may arrive in the form of a conversation that makes a ring feel inevitable, or it may arrive in a decision being spoken aloud for the first time without hedging, without qualification, without the usual careful distance that this person has sometimes kept between their feelings and their words. The commitment energy is real, whatever form it takes when it lands. Now I need to come to the broken heart, because that is in this message too. And it deserves honoring. Before we arrive at everything that is coming, your heart has been broken by this person in some form. At some point, maybe more than once. Not necessarily in a dramatic, singular way, but in the accumulation of moments where what you needed was not what was given, where you opened and the opening was not fully received, where you hoped and the hope was not met with the certainty you deserved. That is a real thing. It happened. And the marks of it are real. And they are in you even now, even as something better is forming, even as the commitment energy is moving toward you. The marks of what was difficult are still there. I am not asking you to pretend they are not. I am not asking you to bypass them or forgive completely before you are ready, or open as if nothing happened before the something that happened has been acknowledged. What I am asking is that you let what is coming have the chance to reach those places. The places that were marked, not to erase them, but to show them something different, something that was always possible in this person, and that needed the reckoning to emerge, and has now emerged fully for the first time. The broken heart deserves to be met by the thing that is coming, which was forged in part by having broken it and then having to sit with the weight of that until the sitting produced something worth bringing back to you. I want to speak to you directly now about how you receive this, because receiving is not passive. It is one of the most active things a person does, and I want to make sure you are equipped for it. When what is coming arrives, there will be a part of you that wants to protect. That has built very specific and intelligent walls from the moments of pain that will say, I have heard things like this before. I have opened before, and it cost me. How is this different? That part of you is not wrong. It is not irrational. It has done its job faithfully throughout the difficult parts of this story, and it deserves to be heard. But here is what I need you to also know. The version of this person that is coming toward you now is not the version that built those walls. They have done their reckoning. They have sat with what they did and what it cost and what they need to become to be someone worth receiving that reception, and they have become it. Watch for the difference, not just in what they say, in how they carry themselves, in the particular quality of their presence, in whether their actions match their words, not just in the first moment, but in the sustained reality of who they are. Now, in this version, after the reckoning, and if what you see matches what you hear, let the walls come down slowly, carefully, at your own pace, but let them come down because behind those walls is the version of you that this person has been doing all that internal work to be worthy of, the version that loves fully, without the armor, without the hedging, without the careful management of how much is allowed to show. That version of you deserves to exist in a love that can hold it without flinching, without retreating, without making you feel like too much. That is what is coming. A love that can hold the full version of you because it has done the work to become large enough to contain what you bring. I said at the beginning that this message moved me, and I want to tell you why. Because what I am seeing in this energy is not just a love story. It is a story about two people who chose the hard version over the easy version, who stayed with something difficult long enough for it to become something beautiful. You stayed even when staying hurt, even when letting go would have been rational. You held the faith in what you felt, in the truth of the connection, in the possibility that it could become what it was always capable of being. If both people were willing to do what it required, they did what it required. Finally, completely, in a way that has changed them into someone who can meet you where you have always been waiting to be met. And now the two journeys, yours and theirs, are arriving at the same place, at the same time, with the same readiness. For the first time, perhaps since this all began, that is why I cried. Because that is rare and real and worth every difficult moment that led here. The message is this: simple, direct, without softening. They are coming back, or they are coming forward, or they are coming through to the version of this that was always the real version, the one that exists when fear is not running the show, when the reckoning is done, when the commitment is clear, when what they feel is finally louder than everything that was keeping them from showing it. And they are bringing with them a version of themselves that is finally ready for what you have always deserved. Sit with that, let it land in the deepest places, the places that have been carrying the weight of this love for however long it has been carried. And when they arrive, and they are arriving, let them in with your whole heart, because your whole heart is exactly what this moment was built for.